marathon. Now, this is operation practice to pass, right? We are going to practice to pass. And the main thing about international tax is why people fail international tax, right? Why do people fail international taxation, right? Why do people fail international taxation? The main reason why people fail international taxation is one, deviation, right? They always deviate. The examiner always says deviation. Okay, these are you listening? So one is deviation, and two is the inability to answer questions. Write it down. To answer questions to the satisfaction. Okay, to the satisfaction of the marker. Okay, so basically, this is what I'm trying to eradicate for you. Okay, to eradicate for you how to not deviate when a question is being asked, and two, your inability to answer questions to the satisfaction of the marker. And this one has a lot of issues. Maybe your answers are limited, right? Limited answers. Okay, this is one of it. Two is the issue of not knowing, okay, or not understanding the concepts, right? Especially the DTAs and the articles. I'm sorry, if you even know the principles in the DTAs and you don't know the specific article, let's say you know about employment income, but you don't know that it is Article 15, I'm sorry, you cannot pass international tax because they give mark to the article name. So if you go and say that in accordance with the DTAs, employment income is accounted for this way, it is true. But which article? For international tax, we make use of the articles. So if you do not use the articles, you are going to fail. Me, I'll tell you the truth, right? And the truth shall set you free. So, limited answers. How do we eradicate this? I'll teach you a simple way to always get what? The right answer. P, your point, explanation, and evidence, right? And the use of headings, okay? So I'll teach you a simple way that you can use to what? Track international tax. Now, another thing which people really do not focus on is clarity in expressions, right? Clarity in expressions, your grammar, okay? People do not really know that these things are issues. Your clarity in expressions, your grammar, your handwriting, okay? Your handwriting, especially spacing. Some people's handwriting is too congested, spacing, and then the height, okay, too small, right? Or the size of your writing, right? Legibility of your writing. All these things count, right? And the way you structure your questions, the structure of questions and answers. You see, I'm just giving you all the secrets why you are failing international tax. So if you look at it clearly, you see that it is not limited to knowledge alone. Because I know people who, let me add, not, how do I put this? Okay, let me say delay. I should use this, just one word, delay, right? This one will slow down, meaning that your speed will reduce. Why? Delay because you don't know which questions to do first and which questions to do last. That is why you fail almost every professional exam. These are the weaknesses, right? So if you end up going to, or let's say you are doing tax or you are doing some particular course, tax audit, whatever, some of these are the main reasons why you are. Not necessarily that. Okay? Please don't mute. If you know you are coming to talk, don't mute. It's a very serious session. So we are saying that sometimes the reason why people fail is not only because of knowledge, but because of some of these things. Have you written them down? And you see, the main thing I brought was the very first thing I said. What was what? What's the problem? What was it? What was the main problem? What's the main reason why people fail?
Deviation.
Deviation. And this one is not only international tax. The key cause that people deviate a lot is tax audit, right? For tax audit, every night people fail. Tax audit is the most filled paper now, even more than international tax. International tax, people are starting to get it small. Tax audit, people deviate all the time, right? You're going to ask somebody about audit review. Then the person will be writing about code review and court review, right? That could that could be a potential issue to be marked down because, please excuse me and let me take this over.
Professionally, and everybody's talking about like Power BI and data analysis. It's very relevant, guys. For those people, and for those people that want to become individual, independent business consultants, or want to start working in the consulting industry as a general, I have built and gave away this consulting masterclass. Okay, so I gave this consulting and career mentoring masterclass. It's 100% done by me. 2 hour long masterclass that I analyze how to build a market map, a career map. I give away salaries, expectation of salaries. I give you guys cards. I give you all the literature that I have, and I also teach you guys how to become such as myself. Okay, so if you guys want to work with this team, I also prepare this, and I am not going to charge for that. I'm not going to charge for that either. Okay, so in this
You are not serious at all. Mr. Morgan. Okay. Please, so did you write them down? Were you able to write them down? So we are going to find solutions to this.
Is what is the PE?
P, I'll come there. You just write P. How to answer questions. These are techniques on how to answer questions, right? This is how to answer cases. Okay, so these are techniques I want you to understand. So you just write it. International tax, there's always a trick, right? For me, you know, the style I used to teach is to teach you exam techniques, how to answer questions to make the best out of the marks. If you have that, Charlie, we don't have a problem. We can kill everything that the reviewer has, right? So for now, I want us to build these techniques before we focus on knowledge. Knowledge. Hey, please read that.
Sorry.
Okay, so if you are done, I told you the first issue is deviation, right? Sometimes they may ask a question, especially questions that ask that maybe what is the tax implication? What is the tax implication of the above transaction, right? What's the tax implication of the above? Now, because they're asking about tax implication, you don't know where to start from. Okay, this is what I want to eradicate, where they don't ask you direct question that maybe using Article 4. This one, somebody knows that, oh, they're asking about residence, right? But when they ask about what is the tax implication of the above, the student's mind becomes plenty. Why? Because you don't know what exact article you should use. Do you understand what I'm trying to put across? Do you get it? Do you get it?
Yes.
Right, across. So this is where, like, they don't really tell you exactly, and now that's how your questions come, right? The examiner wants to see whether you understand the whole concept. So he will not tell you that using Article 17 or maybe using Article 18. He will just tell you that what is the tax implication of the above transaction? And then that is where you, the student, have to say, okay, what are the articles that I can apply here? Okay, so they will lead you to apply yourself. And I like something like that, right? That is where we'll see those who have learned and those who have not learned, right? And then I'm going to teach you ways to generate answers from thin air. Okay, so I think that is fine. But I want you to put this down so that we start looking at the various ways we can answer these kind of case studies, right? So I'll take sample cases and then we'll use it to play around and understand some things before I actually go into the concepts, right? I hope that is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I realized that whatever we teach in class, okay, yes, you know, everybody learns differently. But I realized that, do you understand? Yes, sir. Do you understand? Yes, sir. It doesn't really solve any problem. Okay. They understand today, tomorrow they don't understand. Some people do not even understand, but they feel like they would be pulling the class back. All these things are limitations, all right, which we have to eradicate. So this session, this very first session, we are going to learn the exam mindset, right? How to conquer this paper, such that if you go to the exam hall, right, there's no way you'll be scared, no matter what they throw at you, because you know that whatever they're asking is directly from the syllabus or is something, even if you don't know, that it is linked to something you know, right? And that's how you can make the best out of each paper you are writing, whether final level 1, final level 2, whatever, the same principles can be applied. But because international tax has a lot of cases, I'll teach you how to answer cases to the core, right? Please, are you done now? Can we move?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with the structure of the paper. Okay, this structure is not anywhere. This is the structure from my perspective. I always create a structure for myself, right? So I always break my structures into 5 questions. It doesn't mean that this is how it will come, but it means that these are the most common, right? So when I break it out, it means that most common, that if you put your hopes there, at least you have a high chance of passing. Please, whatever I share with you, keep it confidential, right? So that it will aid you yourself to pass. If you go and share it with somebody, the person shares it and they notice, they may change it. So it is for your own good. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yes,
Yes, it
yes, it
does.
makes sense.
And to keep it to yourself, pass. When you finish, tell your friend, oh, I went to prof's class and I made it. Come there. That is it. You grow, I grow, right? That's how it's supposed to be. So let's see. Of course, that's how it's supposed to be. Because if I should keep sharing knowledge, that means you also need to grow me, right? Then I also grow you. Oh, going concern, meboa. Ana meboa.
No.
To keep learning from me, I must keep the good work going. And to keep the good work going, it's all from you. Ana meboa. Of course.
Third-party referrals.
Sure. And I'm promising you, with God being by our side, I'm going to guarantee you your pass mark in international tax audit, oil and gas, or whatever paper. But you just have to listen to me. I've realized over the years that the reason why people fail is because they fail to listen. Okay. One, you fail to listen to me. Two, information overload. Please stop this, right? If you have put all your hope in me, I expect you to only focus on me. If you listen to me and you focus on whatever I give you, your chance of passing will be very high. But here lies the case. Hey, and we went to the class here and they say we should check this thing. Oh, this thing is coming. Okay. Let me ask you a simple question. All other tuition centers everywhere, wherever, even including me, all the information that you are looking for, is it not in the textbook? Answer me. Is it not in the textbook or the syllabus?
Yes, it is.
So what is different about any tuition center? There's nothing different. It is you. If it has to be, it's up to you. There's nothing different. You see somebody attending more than 4 tuition centers because international tax is difficult. See, it doesn't matter how many knives you are carrying. It is the one who wields the sword, right? Do you understand? Those who read understand. Do you get it? So it doesn't matter how many cutlasses. The cutlass may be sharp, yes, it will help. But not if you don't have strength, can you even carry the cutlass? Please answer me.
No.
First, I've realized that the reason
No,
why
no, you can't.
is mindset, right? You are already scared of the paper. I want to eradicate that fear. It is nothing more than all of us have been students. We all learned. So how different are you? You're not different, right? I want to tell you today that it doesn't matter whether it's left with one day. You can make a change. You can make that change, right? Now, you just need the right structures. That is when you sharpen your cutlass. So I am the cutlass. I am giving you what? I am sharpening that cutlass, but you also need your strength to wield that sword. Do you understand? So we are saying that, yes, you need to learn. Stop taking so much information. You just need standard information from one source. Focus on it, right? And make the best out of it to pass. That is what I want from you. Does that make sense? I hope that sounds fair. So now,
It is.
listen to me.
It does.
Avoid information overload. Oh, I went to class here. They said this is coming. Yes, those people who went there put their hope in that tutor. He gave them his information. You have also come here to put your hope and trust in me. And once you put your hope and trust in me, you are trusting God that everything will be fine. And that is what I want. Don't doubt. Only believe it shall be and it shall be done. Do you understand? From henceforth, once you've come here, I'm going to give you everything you need to pass. If you focus on other information, it's your own cup of tea. I am going to give you the information. One thing is that I must tell you, I have been doing this for over a decade. So I will tell you the truth. I was there long before all these tuition centers came to set up, right? And people even know, even CIT themselves, they know. I was there long. All these tuition centers, some 1 year, some 6 months, and they are making noise. I know how the papers are set. I have been setting papers myself. If you don't know, I'm telling you. So if I'm telling you today, I'm telling you that stop listening to things that will not make you pass and focus on yourself, because the only one who can make you pass is you. Do you understand? I have seen people who come and they tell me I've read cover to cover OECD model. You say they'll just be dictating to you Article 5. This is there, that is there. They go and they come back all the time. So you realize that it's not about the knowledge. You need something else more than knowledge. Does that make sense? Today, I know some of the things that I would say will not make people happy, but it's the truth. And until you deprogram yourself and reprogram, that change will not happen. So I'm telling you, if you have to pass, it's up to you. Please remember all the stress you've gone through. Class, you are tired, you come home, you come and sit down, you are dozing off, and then you go and fail. All to come and go through that cycle again. And that cycle is with another tuition center again. Different faces, different times, right? Look at the stress. So why don't you pass once and for all? Because you have to wait some 6 months again, go through that same stress again. And it's not even the same place, or different place again. If you don't make it, you say, oh, this tuition, then you go to another tuition center. Students are hunting for tuition centers instead of facing,
One second.
right? Students are hunting for tuition centers instead of facing the truth. You need to face the song. The song is that if it has to be, it is up to me. What did I say? If it has to be,
It
It
is
is
up to me.
it is up to me.
Up to
I am
me.
telling you the gospel.
Trust me.
If you really pay attention to what I'm telling you today, you are not going to fail in life, not only in the exam. Everything that you have set your mind to. Don't listen to so many. Do you know that if you get so many information, you are confused because you don't know which one is real, and you end up beating about the bush. By the time you realize, the time is gone. Because no matter the tuition center, now the same things in the syllabus we go teach you, no be so. Or just be honest with me. Just that it will be taught in different ways. Meboa. And this is some of the problems that we are facing. Please, if you give excuses, right, you are not going to make it. I'm telling you the truth. If people are not making it, okay, exam, wherever, if you are not making it, it is you. Do you know why? Because it is either you are arrogant, you fail to listen, 2, you are lazy, or you just don't want your goals to be achieved. Maybe you want to go round and round. Do you understand? So, humility pays when you want to learn. Be humble. Even if you know, do as if you don't know. Empty your cup and learn like a child. 2, don't be lazy. Some months ago, you haven't done this course before. You had no knowledge. Now look at where you've got into. At least you know some bits and pieces. Yes, that is fine. But that alone should tell you that if somebody is able to sit down and just take a question like that, he hasn't seen before and be able to answer. What about me? Can I do that? People do not ask themselves these questions, right? They think that, oh, once I attend class, I'm fine. Who said class alone? In actual sense, in a professional exam, the lecturer is only supposed to do 30%, and then you are supposed to do 70. But I realized that, oh, let me do even 100% for my students. But the little effort that you have to put in, I don't see people putting. Oh, it was really sad the last time I just sent more questions up till date. I think only 4 or 5 people sent their answers to me. And all those who sent their answers, it wasn't that bad, right? Some of them were very, very good. I think the first 3 were okay. The ones that followed, is like they were just doing something for me, just because I don't want to make Bill angry. So let me just put something down. But at the end of the day, me, I finished writing my exam. I finished writing my exam. I'm never going to write this exam again. Eh? Do you understand? So I'm just trying to help you. So it's the effort that I look for. Okay, that small, that effort. If you are able to put in that effort today, trust me, even doing 20 minutes a day is going to change your life. I'm telling you. And you know, the reason why most of us find learning difficult is that all our lives, we haven't been taught how to learn. You see, that's the problem I have with our education system. It just starts teaching you without teaching you how to learn. If you don't learn how to learn, then how do you expect me to absorb information? Or do you get what I'm trying to say? I told you this first session is a mindset session. I'm going to teach you how to answer questions. But first of all, we must eradicate that negative mindset we have of ourselves. Some of us feel we are not good enough. That is the main reason why we fail exam. I'm telling you, you go to the exam hall, who has experienced this before? You go to the exam hall, you went through the paper, you didn't make it, or you came out and you started remembering, oh, this question 4, I remember. It should have been like this. Oh, this question 5, it should have been like this. True or false? Who has faced that before? It's an open session. You can speak your mind. Please feel free. Who has faced it before? Who has experienced it before?
We do a lot.
To finish before you now, the things start coming. Have you realized it? It's because, one,
Yeah.
you don't have confidence in yourself. You see the question, A is long, then you start getting scared. Please put up your hand if you are the type who, if you see long cases, then you start shaking. Oh, just put up your hand. It's normal. We've all been there. If you see long cases, then you start getting scared. Oh, just put up your hand. let me see. If you are scared of long cases, like if the case is very long, you start getting scared. Yes, show by hand. Oh, feel free. We are all learning. Show by hand. Feel free. I'm here to eradicate that fear, so feel free. Everyone is scared of long cases, right? But let me tell you the gospel truth. Long cases have so much information in them. So your chance of passing long cases are more solid than short cases. Short cases require a lot. Okay, short cases require what? A lot of analysis. Now, let me show you. Every case study you are going to find on this earth, or every question that you will need, right, to answer, falls into 3 categories. Okay, I said every question you need to answer falls into what? 3 categories, right? I hope you are writing them down. The first is what we call answer in the scenario type of questions. Okay, so this one means that what? The answer is in what? The scenario. Do you understand? The second type of question is what do you think type of question. Okay, what do you think type of questions? What do you think? Meaning that this one relates to short cases, and they said somebody has done something. So you are either going to suggest or recommend something, right? This one tests your knowledge more than anything. So me, in exam, I will prefer longer cases. Longer cases are more like answering the scenario because it is long means there's so much information inside. Remember, empty barrels make the most noise, true or false. So longer cases make the most noise, but they are the easiest. And I'll teach you how to crack that code. But the short cases, you need so much, right? Look at this. Assuming I tell you that A set up, okay? A has set up a what? A factory in country X, right? This all I give you. And I say, talk about the tax implications of the above. Do you know, and I put there 25 marks. Do you know that this one will take a lot of energy from you than assuming I were to give you a long case? Just look at it. True or false?
True.
False. Right? Because you don't know where to start from. Because there's so many things I can talk about. He set up a factory. Definitely PE will come in, right? That factory, the activities that they are doing, are they preparatory or auxiliary in nature? Are they using agents at the factory to sell? Are you getting, so many things will come into your, of course, that means they want you to talk about everything. But assuming I gave you breakdown of the case that he set up the factory, he has what? He has agents that do distribution in the factory. They send samples to hospitals, right? They make drugs. They send samples to hospitals. They send some to another agent who does the packaging, only packaging. We have what? They set up workshops for display of those drugs, right? A showroom and all that. You see, that one gives you further information. So you know that, oh, this one there, I know that, okay, if they do this, then it's this. If they do that, then it's that. I hope you are learning something. So the fear of long questions should be eradicated. Now, long questions, and yeah, no never it's the short ones, right? So we've seen 2 questions. Now, the third type of question you should be looking out for is what we call what? Theory type of questions. Theory, or what we call knowledge-based questions, right? Now, what I want you to know about knowledge-based questions is that what? If you know, you know. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. So what do you think in theory questions are the headache? The reason why people fail? Because if right now I go and ask you, what is the simplified approach to transfer pricing documentation? If you haven't read it, how can you answer this? Please answer me. What is the simplified approach to transfer pricing documentation in the Ghanaian transfer pricing regulations? If you haven't read, can you answer? Oh, please tell me. I said it's an open session, so feel free. We are all sharing ideas. If you haven't read, would you know?
No, you won't.
You won't know, right? So that is telling you something is missing. So as a student, if you want to pass international tax, okay, even tax audits, okay, for oil and gas, most of the time they don't bring cases, but tax audit, international tax, these 3 types of questions should be in your mind. Anything that involves a case study, even after CIT, if you are going to do any other professional course that involves case studies, this is how you look at the kind of questions they can give you, right? And there are some particular things they ask you to do: analyze, evaluate, suggest, recommend, right? Justify. All these things, they have meanings to them, but I'll not have the luxury of time to go deep into all this, right? So I just want to take some scenario and then let's see something. I want to make it practical for you, right? So I'll just take a scenario in PE, okay? So let me ask you something. When we say something is a case study, are you listening? What does it tell you? Case study. Now, it is two words, case and study. Where does the study come from? Is it not the theory? Answer me. True or false? If we say apply something, is it not still the theory you are applying? Oh, please answer me. True or false?
True.
True. In the application be applied there, it's still from the theory, the concept. Are you getting it? So I just want to take some cases. Let us look at something. Oh, why is this thing behaving like that? I'm coming. I just want to show you some long cases and let's see something how to debunk long cases. I want a question on PE. I just want to open some questions on PE. Very long one. Okay. So when it comes to international tax, I want you to, take your pencil there so that you annotate. Some people tell you read the question 3 or 4 times. They are lying. Reading 3 or 4 times is not going to change the picture for you. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. I'm telling you. But then when you are going and you are annotating, at least it's going to give you further information, right? So the whole thing is that with a question, you need a roadmap. And the roadmap to the question is what? The roadmap to the question is the what? The requirement. So when you start, okay, they're asking you, determine whether casting Europe and casting South Africa have a PE in Ghana. So what should come to your mind? Okay, I'm in the example. I've seen this question. Please, always go to requirements first. What did I say? What did I say?
Always go to the requirement first.
Don't read the case before the requirement. If you do that, you are lost. How can you go to a destination before you look at the map? Have you heard it before? Or how can you sit in a bus before you book tickets? Have you heard it before? Sometimes it happens, right? Yes, I understand. It can happen. You sat in the bus, you forgot. Then they're saying tickets, please, then you book. But it is better. You have a map. This is the map where you are going before you now set on the journey. Does that make sense to you? I hope that makes sense. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does.
So we are saying this. We are determining whether one casting Europe and casting South Africa have a PE in Ghana. So the first thing I would do is that, okay, I haven't looked at the case. I don't care what the case is saying, but do I know what a PE is? Do you get me? So, okay, they've given you the case, whatever. We know that. But we are saying that, do I know what a PE is? Yes. So straightforward, I will use my pencil and annotate, okay, if it's PE, what issues are they talking about? So, okay, definitely the definition of PE. What is a PE? Okay, we know that. Then apart from that, I know that PE, there are some types of PE, okay, like a fixed place. If it's a fixed place of business, like office, those things, just put out a mind map of everything you know about PE, right? Just throw it for them. So fixed place, okay, definitely there's a fixed place, right? Fixed place PE. There's what? A construction activity, when somebody is doing construction activity. So fixed place, if there's an office, there's a workshop. So all you are doing is that you are telling your brain to go into what? A responsive adaptive mode. Okay, we call it adaptive response. So you are forcing your brain to get that thing for you. Your brain is just a file system. If you do not know how your brain works, you will struggle to learn all the time. Your brain is a file system. Until you configure it to give you the necessary files, okay, you must tell your brain what files are important at what time. Otherwise, anytime you try to recall, you'll not remember because it's in your archives. Any file that you don't often visit, the brain assumes it is not important and puts it into your archives, right? That's why learning becomes difficult for you. Learning shouldn't be difficult. So look at this. So I know fixed place. I know that definitely construction activities are PE. Services may be PE under the UN model. If you do the service for more than 183 days, you know, you have the stuff, the theory, fine. You know that when it comes to exemption from PE, right? So far as there's a DTA, you know that when you are just storing something for somebody for display, okay, when you are just processing information, okay, when you are just collecting stuff or exhibition, goods are for exhibitions, right? Or they are auxiliary or preparatory in nature, they are not part of PE. So when you have all these things in mind, okay, I'm just dealing with the first requirement. Don't worry about residence now. I just want you to get the idea. Once we know this alone, now when I go in and they say, what, determine whether there's a PE, me, all the time, anytime I'm dealing with any case study, there's a framework, okay, which the person himself who brought case study uses. If the examiner is coming up with a case, he first takes a point. Okay, what do I want to talk about? Okay, I want to talk about PE, agency PE. Okay, that is the point. What does agency PE mean? The explanation of that point. What does it mean? What does it what mean? That's where the examiner takes it from first. Then he said, okay, I must put it into the case now, okay, or create what? A scenario, okay? I'll create a scenario around this and now put it inside the case. Does that make sense? So, okay, I know agency P is where what? Somebody works for you as an agent, a dependent agent, and therefore he creates a PE, right? He carries out contracts in your name and whatnot. So the examiner says, okay, that is it. This is what I know agency PE to be, dependent agency PE. Okay, so how do I put it in the scenario then? Okay, I'll let maybe agent A supply some goods to B, and B will now sell to other customers in the country. So B, this is now the agent of A, right? So he will now create this. So if you're a student and you adopt this same structure, you are never going to fail at a case study because you are thinking like the examiner. And that's how you pass. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So when I
Yes,
say
it does.
P, when I say P, I mean point. What is the point you want to make? Usually this is your heading, right? E, explanation, which is what? Explain what it means, right? Mostly here, you talk about the theory around it, the concepts, right, around it. Then what? Evidence. Evidence or what? Application. That means applying it to the case, right? So evidence or application from the case. So this is where, assuming they said what? Determine whether casting Europe and casting South Africa have a PE in Ghana. I will start by talking about what a PE is, right? You see, it makes sense. You said the person, does the person have a PE? Yes. So what is a PE? I can ask that question. What is a PE? A permanent establishment is a fixed place through which the business of the enterprise is carried out wholly or partly, or is partly or wholly carried on, right? I've said it. Are you getting it? That is what? The point, that's the explanation of that point. Then I say what? From the case, the following are factors that we need to consider to determine whether casting South Africa and casting Europe have a PE, because I have defined PE now. Telling the person who is marking that this is PE, this guy knows what a PE is. That's the first point. Second point, I have said what? The following are the factors to be considered to determine whether these guys have a PE in Ghana. So now I take casting Europe and I underline it nicely. So all I'm focused on in the whole case is I'm just looking at casting Europe. When it comes to casting South Africa, all I'm focusing on is just looking at casting South Africa. Makes sense? Does that make sense? Are you learning something?
Mm.
Are you sure? I'm not just talking. I'm giving you pointers. Hmm? Any question? or we can move. So the first step is always put your heading, explain the theory, and then say from the case, from the above, from the foregoing, in my opinion, in my experience. They want to see some of these things. People answer questions like robots. Meanwhile, they are human beings. The examiner says this and I laugh. Yes, it's true. It's like people stick to something that this one, like the way it is structured. See, suggested solutions are just suggested. That human touch to be part of your questions. Sometimes you ask rhetorical questions. Assuming I start this question, I can start A. So what is a permanent establishment? You see, I've asked a question. The guy will be like, wow, this is a different way. Yeah, your intros are very important. If you don't know, I'm telling you. I see people who, let's say they've just asked, determine whether casting South Africa and casting Europe have a P. A student will start A, then you start saying P is da 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 da. You start applying. Please, no. Anytime they ask you a question, you need to bring a nice heading. Don't just start A and start writing the answer. Maybe they said what? List 5 reasons why so and so has a P in the country. Then somebody just start I, because he has done this. I, because he has done. No, you start and say 5 reasons why so and so has a P in this country. Then you underline it nicely. It tells that you are a professional. Right? That's why I've been intentionally testing mocks and other things to see how people approach questions. And some people, they just write A, then they just start listing the points. Please, that is for the lower levels. This primary SHS people, I beg you. At your level, every question that you answer needs an introduction. It always needs what? An intro. If you don't give an intro, you lose 2 marks. You lose 3 marks. They are always hidden. Because that is why we don't show marking scheme to students in Africa. I don't know why. But then, if you look at the marking scheme, it is far different from what we have been doing. That's why when I train you, I teach you just like how the marking scheme requires it. Okay, I don't use any other framework. So you realize that my approach to approaching things are very different. There are some things that almost every question, if you look at the marking scheme, they are there. Almost every question in the marking scheme, that thing is there. It keeps repeating, keeps repeating, keeps repeating. So that tells you that what? That thing is very important. Do you get the idea? A typical example is that when you visit section what? 98(1) of what? The Revenue Administration Act, right? The DTA supersedes the domestic law, right? So where there's a conflict or there's an inconsistency between the domestic law and the DTA shall prevail over the domestic law. This thing, so far as Ghana, are you getting it? Versus a DTA country or a DTA, Ghana law against a DTA happens in one case, right? Definitely some people are from a different country and so far as there's a mix-up, this thing must always be provided in every question. That the DTA supersedes the domestic law, and there's always a mark allocation for telling us this. I'm telling you, if you look at the marking scheme, this thing, every question is there. But students do not know, so they lose essential marks. Imagine that you have 4 questions coming from DTA, and every question you provide this 1 mark. You've got 5 free marks without doing anything. Makes sense. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Make sense?
Yes, Bill, it makes sense.
Yes, it makes sense.
So, assuming I start here, now I know that I'm determining what? A casting South Africa and casting Europe. So, my main thing in my head is that what does casting Europe do that can create a PE? What does casting South Africa do that can create what? A PE. That is what should be in your mind as you go. Do you understand? So, now I know what PE is, whatever. But then the thing is how to apply what I know. That is a problem students have. Me, I know that is your problem. That is why international tax seems to be difficult, or even if you've not started before, you are still scared because when you open the past questions, you are not able to deal with them and you are so scared. Don't be scared. I'm telling you that there's a way around it, right? So let's see how we go about this. So I need someone to read for me when you read. Otherwise, I'll get a sore throat because of how I'm going quickly. So you read. When I tell you to stop, you stop. I give some notes and stuff about it. Let's continue this one. Let me read. Now, It says what? Casting International. It's a multinational enterprise that develops, manufactures, and sells electronic products. So can you all agree that this is the core business of this company? Do you all agree? That's what it does.
Yeah.
Of course.
True.
So if I set up in Ghana and I do the same thing, it means I'm doing my original business in Ghana, true or false? So have I not established myself permanently? I have. So if I see anybody that is doing this on behalf of Casting International or does this on behalf of Casting International, it should result in a PE.
Yes.
I hope that makes sense. So always, whether transfer pricing or DTA, anytime they give an entity, look at the functions, okay, that it is performing, the asset it is using, and the risks. So you see always a functional analysis, whether you are doing DTA or you are doing transfer price, and the functional analysis is always important because you must know the functions that the person is performing, the asset it is using to perform those functions, and the risks it can face, because it can give you so many questions, right? But especially here, we know the functions can create a PE. Do you understand? Okay. So we know that Casting International is a multinational. And what does Casting International do? Develop, manufacture, sales. True or false? True, right? Now, the multinational head office, which is Casting International PLC, is in London. Okay, so now we know this company is in a particular country, but the question is, does Ghana have a DTA with that country? You ask yourself. Does Ghana have a DTA with what? With the US, the UK? Does Ghana have a DTA with UK?
Yes.
Everybody is quiet. These are the countries that Ghana has a DTA with. France, Italy, Netherlands, Denmark, Belgium, UK, United Kingdom, Germany, Switzerland, South Africa, Mauritius, Morocco, Czech Republic, and Singapore. So this is my mnemonic. If you see anybody using it, you can sue the person. Just mine. Fine bags plus MMCS. Okay. Now there are new ones that are coming about. These are the ones that are finalized and used as of now. So we are saying that, first of all, you see, I'm bringing some things to your mind. Okay, this company is in London. Do we have a DTA with UK? Yes, we do. And it is telling us that this multinational company has subsidiaries. And all the subsidiaries are owned, 100% owned by what? Casting International. Okay, we have this information. Now it says what? What does Casting International do? We said it does what? It develops, manufactures, and sells what? Electronic product. That means it literally sells. It's what is its principal revenue generating activity? Answer me. We are solving this together. If you are quiet, I will close the meeting. We are learning. So the more you contribute, the more you get to understand.
Electronic products.
They sell electronic products, right? That is what they actually do. The core principal activity that brings money is the selling of it. Because developing and manufacturing does not bring you money, does it? Why would GRA be concerned about your manufacturing development if you do not sell that thing to bring you money? That's what, so think from a taxman's perspective. Taxman will only come in when you are making money. True or false?
True.
True. So if I don't see you making money, why should I tax you? So that is why PE, that is all we talk about when it comes to PE, right? So let's see. It says what? The electronic products are manufactured in China by Casting Asia. Did the question ask us about Casting Asia?
No.
No. But we must know what it does and how it links to the ones we are looking for. Do you get the idea? So always try to establish a linkage, then you will know what to say. Okay. There are 3 regional logistics management subsidiaries. Okay. So we've seen another function.
Well, what the Mr. No 6.
So we saw that right now, we saw one function. Casting Asia, what does it do? What does Casting Asia do? Manufacturing, right? True or false?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we see that We have three others who only do logistics what? Who do logistics management? True or false?
Manage.
And
Yep.
what are they? Casting what? Europe.
South
Europe.
Casting what? It says what? Around the world, including casting Europe. Okay. So there are
Yeah.
others that we don't know. But so far, they said casting Europe is one of the ones that does logistics. Do you get it? And they said what? There's a sales center and supply chain management company. That is what? Casting
South Africa.
South Africa. Okay. So now we have seen that Casting International has a lot of subsidiaries, but the case only gave us three. Casting Asia, Casting Europe, and Casting SA, right? Okay. Now, we saw that this one does what? Sales and what? Supply chain management. True or false? So you see, when you have this in mind, it is now going to make everything simple because you have what? A framework. You have what? A particular framework you are going to use to answer your question. Now look here carefully. One does manufacturing, one does logistics, one does sales and supply chain management. Okay. Now the thing is, you see, every time I see an entity, I ask myself, where is it located? One, two. Does that country have a DTA with Ghana? You see how I approach questions. So you are a student, so I'm giving you that mindset. When you have that mindset, everything is going to be easier for you, right? Having that mindset is enough for you to pass. So let's continue. So Casting Europe is in Liechtenstein. Do you have DTA with Liechtenstein? Where is Liechtenstein?
Europe.
But do we have DTA with Liechtenstein? We don't.
No.
Okay.
No.
Meaning that, listen carefully. If I don't have DTA, it means that the benefits that I'm going to get in the DTA will not be there. True or false?
True.
True. Because DTAs exist to do two things. Minimize your double taxation and what? Eradicate fiscal evasion. That's tax avoidance and tax evasion, right? But then, if I see I don't have DTA with me, it means that those benefits that the DTA gives me, I'm not going to get. Have this at the back of your mind. Every question you are doing, if you see that you are dealing with a country you do not have a DTA with, it means that those benefits in the DTA, especially when you are doing PE, that is what the PE exemptions. Like, for instance, do you know that if you only take somebody's goods and then you are using it for exhibition or just delivery or just maybe displaying, right, or storing for the person, it is exempt, right? That means it doesn't constitute PE. You know that.
Yes.
And this thing is only in the DTA. What if there's no DTA? It means that even if
Taxable.
you create these activities, the tax law or the tax authority will assume that you have created a physical presence and therefore there's a commercial activity. Do you understand? So you having a DTA gives you some benefits. So if there's no DTA, that means Casting Europe is more likely to have a PE than any other entity because we do not have a DTA with Liechtenstein, meaning we are going to definitely use what? The domestic law to answer. You see where I'm coming from? So if there's no DTA, we use what? If there's no DTA, what do we use to answer?
Domestic law.
Domestic law. That means everything should now be focused. When it comes to Casting Europe, everything you are doing should be focused on at 896, not the DTAs, because you need DTA. We don't need DTA here because there's no DTA with Liechtenstein. You see how I do questions? So I'm just giving you exam mindset. If you listen to these things and put them behind your mind, trust me, you will go in and every question will be like child's play. It's like, these people, you will just be flowing. And you see, this question is giving you more and more information than assuming it was a very short question. You will see that you don't have this information. And you see how I just take every paragraph and I come up with something. There's nothing that they'll put there that doesn't make sense. Okay. So I hope you've gotten the mindset. Please, as you are working, you're also writing these things down because as we are working, we are solving the question. So through this question we are solving, I'll teach you everything you need to know about PE. Do you get it? That's why I said it's practice to pass. You practice and practice and practice until it sticks. Make sense? Make sense. So can we go?
Yes,
Have you written them down? So write Casting International, parent, 100% owns all the subsidiaries. Functions, right? So you can create a table, then put all of them in there. Just put it down right now. Then let's move to the next paragraph. So we are taking it paragraph by paragraph. After that, I'll teach you how to structure your answers to get the best marks possible from the examiner. If it's 20, you can back some solid 19.5 for 2020. You will be amazed at the result you will get. Amen. So please
Amen.
put it down quickly and then let me get some water. Please put it together. Let me get some water. Shall we proceed now? Shall we proceed?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
So what does it say now? It tells us that what? GRA receives information that Casting Europe is operating a branch office in Accra. What is a branch? It's a fixed place. True or false? So all that is in your mind is that a branch, there's a likelihood that it can create a PE. True or false?
True.
True. And so far as they mention Casting Europe, do we have to think about DTA here?
Yes.
No, check.
Casting Europe.
It's in Liechtenstein. We don't have
Casting-
DTA with Liechtenstein.
No detail, no detail.
So you don't have
No,
to think about DTA for Casting Europe. Casting Europe, you are just using the at 896. Are you seeing how I'm approaching it? Okay.
They are bringing Casting Europe to confuse us. Casting.
You said they are using Casting Europe to confuse you.
No, not that. Casting International is there, so if you are not careful.
That's why I said write them down. So you know the entities you are dealing with, right? Okay. Now, they said what? As a response to the query, the branch office claimed that they arranged for delivery of goods. Okay. Delivery to customers on behalf of Casting South Africa. Oh, okay. Arranging for delivery. Delivery is not sale, right? Unless under the UN model. We say that delivery itself is a sale. I can deliver goods to you and you haven't paid yet. So is it a sale?
No.
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 UN model.
You can say that what? This is auxiliary and preparatory in nature, right?
Mhm.
Okay. But let me ask you something. In our Ghanaian tax law, is there something like auxiliary and preparatory in nature?
No, please.
No. Because we
No.
have DTA with Liechtenstein. Even if you do exhibition, GRA will say you have a PE. So they may claim that their activities are preparatory and auxiliary within the Ghana South African DTA. But we are not dealing with Ghana South Africa now. We are dealing with Europe, Liechtenstein, because you are the one we see. We are not seeing South Africa. However, because it says what? On behalf of Casting South Africa, you could literally say that Casting Europe is an agent of Casting South Africa. True or false? So all possible things, just think about all possible scenarios. That's how we deal with case studies. That's why it's called a case study. You are studying a case. Makes sense? Do you agree? So far, we've seen a branch, which is an aspect of PE. We've seen what? An auxiliary and preparatory activities. We have seen what? On behalf of, meaning an agent. True or false?
True.
False. So this alone should tell you that there are so many issues, right? That you need to talk about. But wait, all these issues that you are looking for, it doesn't mean that you are going to what? Write all of them. No. You are just trying to see whether each of the entities actually have a PE in that country. So far, are you writing the issues I'm underlining? So what issues did we see? Branch. We saw what? Mention them. We saw branch. Then what else did we see?
Auxiliary and preparatory.
Auxiliary and preparatory delivery, right? Then we saw on behalf of, telling us that
Agent.
the agency. You see how I look at it? Okay. Now it says Casting Europe has no office in Liechtenstein. Okay. But somewhere we saw that it has what? A branch office in Accra. So if it does not have an office in Liechtenstein, why did they say it is in Liechtenstein? Maybe the management and control, or maybe it's what? Integration, or it's what? Incorporation is in Liechtenstein, right? But its management and control is in Ghana. Does that make sense? Because if you don't have an office in Liechtenstein, then why did they say you were established in Liechtenstein? Meaning maybe you were established under Liechtenstein laws, but you don't have an office there. Makes sense. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? You know there are some companies that have established in Ghana, but they don't necessarily have an office here. They have some small corner where they operate from, maybe from a different country altogether, but they are incorporated in Ghana. Do you know that? Do you know it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let's continue. So what other information have we noticed now? Casting Europe has no office. True or false? Add it in Liechtenstein. Okay. But we are in Ghana. So Ghana is what we are concerned, but you need to know it. Now let's see what they added. The CFO, the Chief Financial Officer, and the Company Secretary of Casting Europe, who live in Liechtenstein, work in their own private residence and video conference in for board meetings from their home. So we see that management and control, right? When you look at residence, this question was a residence and PE question in one, right? But then today we are not talking about residence. We are dealing with PE, but then we are looking whether there's a physical presence as well. So these people, do we see any physical presence?
Not yet.
Why are you saying there's no physical presence? If I establish a company and I have somebody working even from a small corner office, not look at it from resident, look at it from PE perspective. If I even give you a small office, is it not at your disposal? Even if you are not
Yes.
in my office, you can be my agent. True or false? Can't you be my agent?
True.
True. Okay. Let's see. All exchanges of information among the directors are done by emails, except video conference meetings, right? So the directors have never met physically in Liechtenstein or in Ghana. They have never met before. But then commercial activities are going on, right? So the branch office management, when we say branch office management, where do we see the branch office? Now we are looking at, where did we see the branch office? Which country?
Accra. Ghana.
Accra.
So the
Accra.
branch office management have now claimed that the CFO, where is the CFO located?
Liechtenstein.
He is in Liechtenstein,
Liechtenstein.
but they told GRE that
Yes.
CFO runs the day-to-day affairs of the branch in Ghana. How? How does he do that? They already stated, but
through a video conference
Video
call
call, video conference.
And what?
and emails.
And email.
Regular
So you see, you guys are getting there. So
board meetings.
board meetings, emails, video conference, right? Okay. But then somebody who is in Liechtenstein is running the operations in Ghana. Okay, we have that in mind. Okay. Now, it says what? The branch office claimed that he runs to the day-to-day affairs. However, GRA found out that the chief executive officer, that's the CEO of Casting Europe, makes all the key decisions for the day-to-day running of the business and updates the other directors on those decisions during video conferences. Are they telling us something here? Look, is there inconsistency of information? Let's actually look at it. What did the branch people tell us? We are investigating. They told us something. The branch people told us something. What did they tell us? They told us who runs the office.
The CFO.
The CFO. But GRA also found out that who is running the office.
The CEO.
The chief executive.
The CEO. Though it's not inconsistency. See, this one, he runs the day-to-day affairs. But here, this guy makes all the key decisions. Then this guy runs, right? But to some extent, if you are looking at it from a tax perspective, the CEO is who makes what? The key operating decisions. We call that what? The chief decision maker, right? So where the financial decisions and other operating decisions are made, that is where you are likely to have your place of effective management. We know that, but we are looking at PE now. Okay. Now in Ghana, 3 directors of Casting Europe, including the CEO, have their own offices in the same building with other branch staff. Now, let me teach you a secret about PE. When you are doing PE and you see staff, let me ask you something. Your staff in your office, are they not working in your name? Answer me. Just yes or no. Yes or no?
Yes.
Do they not have an employment contract with you to carry out contracts in your name?
Yeah, they do.
Yes, they do. And are they not solely remunerated by you from that employment? Yes, they are. That tells you that anytime you see question with staff, it means that those staff are your dependent agents. That's why we call it what? Contract of service. Makes sense? So they intentionally put these things to test students' minds to see whether, oh, this guy understands the nature of PE. This guy doesn't understand the nature of PE. That means that he lacks something small. I'm not going to give him the mark. But when you have this broad mindset, you can easily answer questions. And I'll come and show you the trick here to give you all the necessaries that you need. Now, they use the branch office equipment. Nice. 60 people work in the branch office in Ghana. All of them are dependent agents, right? Of which company? All of them are dependent agents of who? Which company? Which company are we talking about now? Here.
Casting Europe.
Casting Europe. And there are 60 people working in the branch office. So that means that all 60, these 60 people may constitute what? Dependent agents. True or false?
True.
True. Now, there is neither an office nor an employee in Casting Europe in Liechtenstein. No. There, are we concerned about that one? Are we in Liechtenstein?
No.
So where are we concerned about? Ghana. And it says what? Except 2 directors, the company secretary and the chief financial officer. Okay. Now the branch staff, look, negotiate with customers on issues such as reduction of price and schedule for payment. Are they not habitually carrying out a contract in the company's name? Tell me.
Yes, they are.
So let me ask you, is it enough evidence to say that Casting Europe has a PE in Ghana based on our Ghanaian tax law?
Yes.
Oh, tell me.
Yes.
Why yes? Tell me why you are saying yes.
Because they are carrying out their current business on behalf of What's the name? Casting Hero. So they are the agents of the company.
Yes, they are not general agents that are working for everyone. They are only doing this on behalf of what? Casting Hero. Do you understand? So definitely can create a PE. Now, that's what. Now, after this, after negotiating for reduction and schedule for payment, when the customer is ready to make a purchase, he is now asked to make a phone call in South Africa to now confirm. So if you want to buy now, you have to call South Africa to confirm payment. And Customs South Africa will now issue you the relevant invoices for the customer to authenticate and return to Customs South Africa. And Customs South Africa then instructs the branch in Accra to supply the products to the customer. And the key terms of the sales contract are agreed between the branch staff and the customers now. And the branch also designs advertisement and direct advertising campaigns. So my question is, based on what we have seen here, I've even given you clues. I've highlighted all the clues. Do we think Customs South Africa has a PE in Ghana?
Yeah, so looking at the adverts, the key terms of the sales contract, they engage customers in. I think Casting Hero South Africa has a PE in Ghana.
Customs South Africa. Okay, your point
Yes,
is
please.
but there's one thing I was looking for which you didn't mention. First of all, the question is, does Customs South Africa have a physical presence in Ghana? That's where you have to start from. Does it have a physical presence in Ghana? No, it doesn't.
What evidence to that?
There's no physical presence. It itself has not established anything in Ghana. So there's likelihood that there's no PE. But however, we must check whether agency relationship is going on. Do we see any agency relationship going on? Is somebody acting like the agent of
Yes.
Customs South Africa?
Yes.
Yes.
And the things that they are doing, is it revenue generating in nature? Or is preparatory work
Yes.
clearing? Uh-huh. So,
It's revenue generating activity.
uh-huh. So you are going to say that, okay, though Casting South Africa we didn't really see that he has physical presence, right? He might be trading with Ghana. But then with that evidence, we can not really say he has a PE unless we check other things like does he have an agent carrying on activities for him in Ghana? And we saw right from the start, they said it is likely that Casting Europe is an agent of Casting South Africa. So that alone tells me that it is probable that Casting South Africa will also be what? A PE in Ghana. You see, we have answered the question without even putting down a word. Have you noticed? Hmm? Have your eyes opened or your eyes are still not open? Should we do more?
Prof.
Yes, please.
Please, this one. I think for me, I will be putting it on the answer sheet.
That is what I want you to be doing. That is it. Happen away with trick now may put it across. As you're identifying these things, you are writing them down in bullet points. That is your answer. So let me show you something. Assuming you are confused, you don't know where to start. Let me show you a simple trick that works like magic. Let me split my screen. I want to show you something. So it seems people are cracking the code. Crack. That's what I want. Crack the code. Yeah. So come in. So you see, look at this. Assuming I want to say Casting South Africa. Oh, where's my pen? Casting South Africa has a PE or does not have a PE, right? So this is what I want you to do. So maybe after I start, I say what? Does Casting South Africa and Casting what? Europe have a PE in Ghana? Okay. It's a question. It doesn't matter how you start. I say your intro, you see, there's something, don't worry, I'm taking you far. There's something called copywriting. That is persuasive writing. We always use persuasion. I mean, if you take my exam question, you think that I want to compete with you. If you take my exam answer, the way I'll persuade you, you should learn how to persuade people in writing. There's always a hook, there's always an offer, and there's always a story. Okay, so we give the hook first, then a story follows, then an offer. Now, this is what they've been using to sell ads for you, and you end up buying something and later you regret. All these things are to just persuade you to buy. Everything, persuasion is crazy. In exam, you can do the same thing. See, you see the way I started? I didn't just start A. I just started and said, does casting South Africa and casting Europe have a P in Ghana? Let us analyze this in detail. The man will be like, wow, this guy didn't use the normal style people use to answer questions. He's taking a different turn. He gets interested in what you are going to say. Are you stealing some of the techniques? Okay, let's go. So first of all, I'll start by saying what is a permanent what? Establishment. Not PE. I'll write it in full. Stop using abbreviations because I'm teaching in class and the time is limited. Then I'll go and say in accordance, what? In accordance with what? Article 5, okay? Article 5.1 or just Article 5 of what? The DTAs, okay? Or the Model Tax Conventions. A permanent establishment is defined as a fixed place, okay? Fixed place through which the business of an enterprise is partly or wholly carried on. So a PE may include the following, right? I'll say a branch, a workshop, place of management, right? A place for extraction of natural resources, an oil and gas well, right? Construction sites, and others, right? And also include the use of dependent what? Agents, right? You get the idea. A PE excludes what? The use of, oh, why is this thing doing this? Freezing again. Come, please open. Please, did you see my style? It doesn't mean it's the same style, but I hope it starts making sense. So excludes maybe activities that are what? Preparatory and what? Auxiliary in nature, right? Okay. So something like this. You don't have to go further. Maybe you just given a prelims, like, yeah, you have told us what PE is, and you said what? To establish whether what? Whether casting Europe and casting South Africa have a PE, the following should be considered, right? So one, I'll just start with what? Casting what? Europe. So that means that everything you are answering is still based on the caveat you have provided here. Does that make sense? So now when I come to casting Europe, then I say what? One, I can use a bullet point. Branch office in Ghana, right? So what you can do is that you can just pick a whole short sentence and make it a heading and underline it and talk. That is the secret. So I gave you P and I gave you headings. That's the secret I was talking about. So you can pick a whole heading, like something like they use branch office equipment, 60 people work in the branch office. So I can just make that a heading. 60 people working in the branch office. Then I underline it. Then I talk. So as much evidence as you can gather, that is all you need. As much evidence as you can gather, that is what? That is all what? So that is
all you need.
And are you getting the mindset now? So I hope from
Yes, I am.
when you are answering questions, you won't be scared. You sure?
Idiom.
Are we sure? Are we okay?
Yeah.
So did you see my style? So always, I would definitely put down my heading, which is my point. I would explain it, and then what? I'll give evidence. I hope that makes sense. So look, branch office in Ghana, I'll say having a branch office, not so, having a branch office usually constitutes a fixed place. True or false? So you see, I'm explaining because a branch office is a fixed place and it's also at what? Your disposal. Okay. But then the issue is whether the activities carried in the branch may constitute a PE. Since Casting Europe is located in Liechtenstein and there's no what? DTA, and there's no DTA with what? This one, it can lead to what? A PE of some sort. Do you get the whole idea? So that is how you have to go about it. Does that make sense? See how I deal with it. So it's up to you. So first of all, you see what I did there. I explained. So this was the point, right? This was the explanation that having a branch may constitute a PE. Then evidence from the case. Okay, you always say from the case. Use good language like from the foregoing, from the case as provided for in the scenario above, together with the details provided. In my opinion, I think, right? Remember, hook, story, and offer. I gave them a hook. They were drawn to my answer. Then I started presenting everything line by line, step by step. Let me tell you, everything I brain work. You go into the exam where you say, hey, I'm not leaving here without passing. That is the spirit I want. Makes sense. I hope we are learning something. Hope we are learning something. Okay, so 60 people working in the branch office. So I can say that what? This is a case of what? Employees, right? Employees have what? A fixed place at their disposal, right? True or false? Having a fixed place at your disposal may create a PE. True or false? Then I go to say that what? Employees may constitute what? Or constitute what? Agents. Do you understand? So you having do you get it? Employees may constitute what? Agents, dependent agents, because what? They are what? They are remunerated, they are solely remunerated by the company, not so by the company, and does exercise what? Or carry out what? Contracts on behalf of the company. Okay. So the secret is to break each sentence into a bullet point. What did I say? Break each sentence into what? Break each sentence into what?
Bullet points.
A bullet point. And then all your worries shall be clarified. I hope it makes sense. I hope it makes sense. So any questions so far?
It does.
So why do you chip in where the DTA and the Ghanaian law or the local law intertwines, the DTA prevails? Or you
You
can
can
just
put it at any place. Maybe after defining like here, you see that I said, oh, there's no DTA with what? There's no DTA with Liechtenstein, right? There's no DTA with Liechtenstein. But however, where the terms of the DTA are inconsistent with the domestic law, what happens?
the DTA prevails.
Yes, so you just stated there. Makes sense.
So much sense.
So are we all okay? Are we sure we are fine now? Any question on the approach to answering questions, or now we are fine? It doesn't matter. I can decide to take a whole, you saw that I was able to take a whole sentence, make it a heading, and I talked. Okay. I can come to anywhere, pick a sentence, right? Like here, the brand staff negotiate with customers on issues such as reduction of price and schedules for payment, and make it a whole heading and talk on it. That is it. Baby, I want to here, no. Convince the person. Do you get it? Hello.
Yeah, with you, sir.
So it's question time. It's question time. It's question time. It's question time. That means everybody is fine. Wow.